Hey guys, welcome back to Fantail. Today I'm going to show you how to remove and replace a cricket bat facing at home. So you're going to need a few items which we'll go over now. Really simple, just a basic craft knife. Linseed oil, really important, just to give that willow a bit of moisture. Fibre tape, a clear facing, and then electric tool wise, a heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, a hairdryer will do the trick, and a sander, either an orbital or just a standard one as well. You can try and do it without a sander, but you often find it really hard, as facings will leave a glue residue behind, so you will probably struggle just trying to do it by hand. So I'd really recommend trying to get some form of electric sander. But yeah, that completes everything that you need. So we'll get started by removing the facing. So the first step is removing the existing facing. So most of the time I'll use a heat gun to remove this, just to get a little bit of heat through it, just to warm those glues up, and it will kind of remove a lot easier and freely. The key thing to removing a facing is making sure we pull across the grain, not up and down. As if you pull up, it'll lift the fibres. Make sure we're pulling across. Also make sure you don't get any heat too much heat over the stickers, as it'll start to melt them. But you just want to get enough heat where it starts to loosen the glue up so you can remove the facing. Cool, so the facing's off. The next step is giving it a light sand. Then we'll move on to fixing any surface cracks. So we use a Fantail orbital sander. So we would start, because it's got a glue residue, we need to start with something like an 80 grit, which is just going to lift the glue residue off, and then we'll start moving through our finishing grits, sanding grits. So we've just finished with the 80 grit. We'll now move to a 150. You can see down here there's still some glue residue up by the stickers. We just don't want to get too close, otherwise we'll leave scratch marks. So we'll get slowly closer as we move through the grits, and then it will be all gone by the time we've finished the sanding process before we put the new facing on. So that finishes up the 150. We're now going to move to the 220 grit. But before we start that, we just want to seal any little surface cracks that you can't really see. They're not open, so they don't need any major repair. So all we're going to do, just standard super glue, you'll find it in Bunnings or your Mitres Hen, general hardware store. We'll just put a few lines just right across, because these are kind of for ones that we can't see. But we just want to pick them up to seal them up before the new facing goes on. So just with that, just a scrappy old piece of sandpaper, and we're just going to work the glue just right around that playing surface. It doesn't matter if you're going with the grain or against it. And it's just going to, as we do this, as we sand it, the dust is going to seal the cracks with the glue. So as we sand it, it just fills any small little cracks with the super glue and dust that comes off when we sand. Cool, let's move to the 220 grit now. So we've just finished off all the electric sanding. The next step is just removing this excess residual glue left by the facing. The best way to remove it, obviously we don't want to get too close around this aspect because it will scratch the stickers, and there's also some glue as the facing was over top of the original stickers that we need to remove. So all you need to do, get some mineral terps. Kids, make sure your parents are around if you're doing this at home, or just get them to do it. But all we're doing, just a little bit on a clean rag and just going in circles, really easy. And that'll just remove and break down the glue, and then it's really easy, just going to come off on the rag. So that's finished off removing that residual glue. The next step is oil. It's really important to apply oil before you put a facing on, as if we don't, it's really just going to dry out, and you end up with a lot of cracks going up and down the playing surface. So it's really key, oil before a facing, and it's really important also to get that facing replaced every season. It's not so much just based on use, it's just time frame. Across the course of a year, it's just going to continue to dry out. So it's really important that we apply oil underneath our facing. The key with this is not to put any oil on the edge of the cricket bat, otherwise our facing won't stick down. So all we're doing, just a few drops, about that amount there as we can see, and then we're just going to rub our hands together and then just lightly put it on. So it's just a light coat, but it's going to be enough because it's under the facing to last the course of the season so it doesn't dry out. But remember not to put it across the edges, otherwise our facing won't stick down. Cool, and now the facing. I can see that this sticker is lifting a little bit, so I'm going to go over the top of this, right up to beneath the stickers, and then I'll make a line, I'll score past it, so it's a nice finishing, kind of just in line with those stickers. There are a couple of ways that you can cut the facing. We sell this through our website, and that's exactly what you'll get. When we put a facing on, we cut it, which you'll see, we're going to cut it in line with the blade. We don't roll it over, as generally we find that you'll get, because this is slightly thicker than your fibre tape, it's going to slightly, if you roll it over, it's slightly thicker, so some of the time it can start to flip up and make small little tears in this stuff. So we're going to cut it in line with the face and then put that with the fibre tape over the edge. But if you're not sure, if you don't want to score the bat at home, because as mentioned, we don't want to make scores in the willow, you can really easily, all you do, get your facing, make sure it's a clean cut across where you're going to lay it at the top. Then you just measure across, so measure the width of your bat, measure a couple of mil in, and then just put a ruler down, cut down here, and then with the toe, all you can do, get your bat, put it face down, so like this, put it face down, and then you just draw a line around the bottom of the toe, then cut it out with some scissors, and then it should be exactly the correct fit for your bat. But we're going to do it the same way we do with all the bats, and score it, light score, to make sure it fits the bat exactly. So all we do is make sure, just lift the backing off, which can sometimes be annoying. There we go, cool. So you're going to go slightly over the top of that existing sticker. Try not to touch too much of the facing. Stick it down level with that edge. Slowly peel it back, making sure there's no dust, and sticking it down. Go. So with your craft knife again, you can use a ruler if you want. We're just going to make small, really light scores, so we're not going through the willow. and finish off just round the toe. So just pull it down when we're going to cut it, so it comes out off nice and easily. Again, really light, just touching through the facing. There we go. So that's the facing applied. Just because we cut the facing over the stickers, there's a little bit of glue that we just need to remove. Again, just with your terps, you don't need much, and then just work that off again. Cool. Next step is applying the fibre edge tape. So we just get the corner, just apply that right up the top. Some people also apply it right to the top of the blade if they want a little bit more protection up there. But generally it just goes to the top of the facing. And you just cut it level right across through here. Same on the other side. So we've got those two pieces on. We just want to cut in line with the facing and then come off the corner a little bit higher so we don't get it flipping up on the edge. So just nice and easily, really light, and just right through, comes off. Same on the other side. And then when we're pressing these down, start from the middle and just work your way off slowly, a little bit at a time. Don't just push it down completely, just work it from the middle out. Because of the bow of the bat, it sometimes gets a little bit difficult, but this bat's quite straight, so it's not too hard to work on. Cool, that about finishes it off. All we're going to do now is just seal the bottom of the facing with a little bit of super glue. That just means if you get a little bit of moisture down there, it's not going to lift the facing up. So again, just with your super glue that you used for the surface cracks, all we're going to do is just get a touch, and we're just going to apply it just over the bottom of the facing, and that will just stop it lifting up while in use. Creates a little bit of a moisture barrier. Cool. So that finishes off our clean face service and also information on how to do this at home yourself. I hope it helps. As always, you can, if you're not confident to do this at home, you can send your bat into our workshop. We'll leave the link to our service and repair page on our website. There's a lot of information and pricing and instructions on how to send your bat into our workshop in Auckland, New Zealand. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It's a bit more of a kind of DIY, which we'll make a few more of down the line. But thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.